Hello all heroes and welcome back to Invincible Season 3 discussion, I suppose we'll call it. We'll be talking about the latest episode as we go through some of our Cecil's nightmares here, just kind of in the background. But today we will be talking about Episode 7 of Invincible Season 3, where push really came to shove in a lot of ways. Once again, spoiler alert, we will be talking about spoilers. This isn't a review or anything, it's mostly just me chatting. I mean, I'll give like a couple opinions every now and then, but this is very informal. So yeah, I've said it before, try to keep spoilers out of the comments. Let's try and keep that pretty clean, if on the off chance you haven't seen it. Now, if you have not seen the episode yet, what are you doing here? Come on, you can download Amazon Prime on your phone if you really want to. Just pause this video, go to the other app and watch that bad boy, because you're gonna get spoiled in a hurry. Just, it's a little note there. But with that out of the way, you have been warned. Now, Episode 7, aka Oops All Invincibles. That was so gosh dang cool. Man, that was cool. All those Invincibles, various types, forms, all that jazz, just tearing up the entire gosh dang planet. So, the episode was split into days, basically, with day 1 and day 2 being just chaos, effectively. Day 1 especially was a serious case of shock and awe. The first variant that our Invincible meets is the Mohawk variant of himself, after he is just torn through a prison just for the heck of it. Which also did free Powerplex, interestingly enough. And also made the heroes very briefly turn on him until it was very clear that the good Invincible was not the one instigating the chaos from all the others. Of course, this was all orchestrated by the very much not dead Angstrom Levy. In the very beginning of the episode, you see, at first I was like, how did Invincible think that Angstrom was dead when he survived? Angstrom didn't have a face. If I saw somebody that looked like that, I would assume they were pretty dead too. So you know what? Hey, I guess you can't knock off points for Invincible thinking he was dead, because, oh buddy, he sure was wishing he was. He got fixed up by those doctors, surgeon, technician guys, whatever they were. They might be a problem later on, but we'll get there when we get there. And then Angstrom was very busy making deals with other Invincibles that he was very likely not going to honor, because he just hates Invincible in general. His plan basically was to make the world hate Invincible and then finish him off. Basically break his spirit and then his body. So yeah, bad times for the planet Earth in general, but especially Invincible. There are a few Invincibles that do drop pretty early on, that fall in battle. The GDA really making use of their little noise makers and Reanimen. I know Invincible doesn't like Reanimen. They sure do help. It's kind of nice to have just cyborg corpses that you can throw at enemies. You know, one Reaniman would never beat an Invincible. 20 might. So, yeah. Cecil's choice to invest in Reanimen, serving him very well, actually. If the game was hurting for characters to add, this episode cured that in a hurry. Not only do you have like over a dozen new Invincible variants, but you also do see quite a lot of heroes taking on said Invincible variants with limited degrees of success. A few of them died, obviously. A few of them did win, but at what cost? Because, of course, these Invincibles were going for damage. They wanted to tear crap up, and tear crap up they most certainly did. It was a mess, and dang it if it wasn't freaking cool. Like I said, some heroes were able to take down their respective marks. They even made a comment on how at least a few of the Invincibles were not as strong as the actual Invincible, and with Cecil's noisemaker stuff, that did certainly help. And they threw out a lot of heroes. Speaking of the heroes, first of all, the Guardians got freaking demolished. Immortal lost a fight again. In other news, water is wet. Yeah, he got his head promptly removed by a Invincible variant. And Darkwing 2 is presumed dead. Now, rule number 1 is if you don't see the body or have a reasonable assumption to assume they're dead, it's hard to say, but I mean, Darkwing went into the Shadow Realm and he didn't come back out, so if he's not dead, he is not doing well. For sure. Everybody else survived, as far as the Guardians go, but the Immortal and Duplicate have decided that maybe the superhero life is not for them. They were a little slower on the uptake. The rest of the Guardians have basically said, nah, we're good. They were a little slower on the uptake, but now they're kind of like, you know what? Maybe this isn't the life we want, and fair enough. Fair enough. I'm a little surprised that we're not seeing Invincibles with their shields yet. Are we not? No, we're definitely up to... Maybe I'm just hurting them that fast. Maybe they're just not triggering it in time. I mean, to be fair, my peeps are doing a lot of damage. I mean, Universe is not even getting a hit out. Oh, you know what? I just realized. Thula is a really nice play on this GDA Nightmare, because these Invincibles are Viltrumites, and she gets a massive crank up when she takes down Viltrumites. I forgot about that. That works out very nicely, actually. Anyways, where was I? Oh, yeah. Guardians lost big, but not as big as the Teen Team did. Unfortunately, and we were afraid it was going to be either Rex or Ray, and it looks like Rex has made the ultimate sacrifice. Blew up his dang skeleton to take an Invincible variant down with him. Which is impressive, because it's like, on a normal day, an Invincible is so much stronger than Rex Blowed, like, exponentially. It's not even close. But dang it if Rex didn't find the one way to kill him. And that was by basically turning himself into a point-blank nuke. Seemed to work, though. That Invincible, we didn't see him again, so pretty sure he got atomized, along with Rex, unfortunately. It's so painful, because he was getting so much, he was getting so much character growth over this last, season and a half, basically. Even, kind of the back and forth of, how we would kind of do a little Teen Team visit every now and then. Okay, now they're getting their shields. I was afraid of that. Every now and then we'd have, a little blip back to Teen Team life. And it's like, oh, they're getting a lot of screen time. That's never good. And Rex, unfortunately, did it. Sad. Very sad. So, the war raged on until day 3, where Angstrom states that Phase 1 was completed, which Phase 1 was basically turn the Earth into a smoking pile of rubble. Phase 2 was bash an Invincible's face, basically. However, all these evil Invincible variants turn out to be evil, and they don't want to play ball anymore. Which, funny enough, does not bother Angstrom very much, as he's able to just kind of bloop them into the desert dimension that has, literally nothing. And, the Invincibles were not too happy about that. But, yeah, they got blooped out by Angstrom, funny enough. Now then, Angstrom decides that he wants to take matters into his own hands, and now he has an army of, millions of little drones that, definitely put Invincible on his butt there for a second. It was looking like it was gonna go either way there for a second. Problem is, even though the drones seem to be just infinite, they most certainly were not, as he very much started to run out of drones towards the end there, and Invincible was able to get a hold of him. Invincible was, per Oliver's yelling that, like, hey, this guy needs to go, which, yeah, Angstrom needs to die. However, Invincible was ever so slightly too slow, and Angstrom does get away, albeit at the cost of his arm. And then the technician guys seem to turn on him, basically say, hey, buddy, guess what? You work for us now, because you kind of failed to do what you were trying to do, and yeah. So that is probably going to be a problem sooner or later, but for the time being, Angstrom does seem to be out of the picture. A good thing, too, because, you know, this episode was not the season finale. This episode was the episode before the season finale. What's the season finale going to be about? Probably the freaking muscly, 1000% muscle Viltrumite that just decided to show up named Conquest. First of all, voiced by my guy, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Love that man in everything he does. He is so dang cool. First saw him in Walking Dead along with a lot of other people. That guy is cool, man. That guy has got style. He's got swagger. He's got the voice. Love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And he is coming to us in the form of the Viltrumite Conquest. Now, this next fight's going to be interesting because this bad boy's going to be winner take all. Because here's the thing. Season 1, Invincible did not win the fight against Omni-Man. Omni-Man gave up. He left. I know they say, like, oh, Mark saved the planet. Buddy, he didn't save nothing. He barely saved himself. Omni-Man just stopped. So, you know, that was not a positive mark on the scorecard for Invincible. Season 2 versus Angstrom, I mean, that was admittedly a win. To be fair, that was a win, but he ended up not actually finishing him off. So Angstrom, not quite finished, came back for more in a massive way. So while that was a victory for Invincible, it was a victory with a serious blemish of Angstrom was so not done. Speaking of Angstrom, the next big fight for Invincible was, of course, all the other Invincibles. And while the world technically survived, once again, would not exactly call that a win. He beat Angstrom, sure. Forced him to retreat at the very least. But that was mostly because the other Invincibles got tired of it and left, or got forced out. So, again, while that was a win, that's a win with a big fat caveat on it. But this new Viltrumite guy that just showed up, oh, he ain't gonna leave. And he ain't gonna retreat. This is gonna be a fight to kill. And I am so looking forward to it. It's gonna be ridiculous. I have no doubt of that. But yeah, so basically season 7, or episode 7 of season 3, good stuff. Good stuff. Good old-fashioned combat. Lots of fighting, lots of destruction. Made Invincible and Omni-Man's fight look like a family scuffle, as they literally devastated the Earth. It was pretty cool. But yeah, very much looking forward to the next episode in the season. Just got a few days to wait. And every second of it is killing me, but we'll be okay. We'll get there when we get there. So yeah, let me know down in the comments what you thought of the episode. Again, keep it spoiler free on the off chance that somebody has not seen it yet. I am losing this fight, but that's okay. So yeah, that is all we have for today. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and we shall see you next time. Have a good one.